Hello and welcome, Free Enterprise fans, FF4 fans, and all you rando heads out there. Your on-ramp to the highway is here. I'm Muppets in Space on the microphone, and here with me is a man named after the free spirit of Final Fantasy VI, Siegfried. Siegfried, how are you doing?
I am very well, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Got a good race coming up here. On the tracker, clicking the little pictures, we have Ike here. And a big shout out to our restreamer. Why have just one when you can have Demarin 2? And let's take a look at our racers. Siegfried, who are we looking at today?
We're looking at four very wonderful runners: Invenerable, MarthSR, Mechalink, and scratchdragon.
We've got seasoned veterans here in Inven and Mechalink and Scratch, and actually Marth is a pretty seasoned veteran. Pretty much we got four powerhouses going after right here, and it looks like a Rosa starts to this seed. Do we know the standings that we've got these runners at off the top of our heads here?
Not currently. I've looked at them off and on, and I haven't gotten up to date just yet.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'll just pull that up right now. We got it. Do know that Inven has been up and down in this circuit, and that's about all I know about these racers is coming into this. We're well into the highway, as it were. We get our first look at our partner with Rosa, and it's going to be Rydia.
and the defense sword.
They get the all-important defense sword for the dual mage setup. So we know that we don't have any real direction to go right now for key items. So everybody's going to be pretty much relegated to their standard routes until further notice. Big good luck to the runners out there. Started with a level 1 Rydia, and the old level 10 Rosa with a bow and iron arrows. It's going to be a rough start. So let's see what we can see going into this one right here. Now, Siegfried, whenever you're running these things, what's the first thing that you always do?
I always raid Baron, check the item shop, and usually go from there.
And it looks like we had an item shop check immediately from Invenerable and Mechalink right there. Whereas Marth and scratchdragon went right to looting immediately. We got Zeus Rage, Boreas. I see a Kamikaze coming out of there. A lot of great high damage J items, making your initial fights a relatively free setup there. You're always looking for some semblance of damage that you can do right at the top, especially when you've got such a weak start in Rosa and Rydia.
And it looks like we have sirens in the Baron shop, and that's always nice to see.
And Scratch is going to throw down some money. Throw down 30,000 bones for 15 sirens, and thank you very much, and Scratch is off. And Invenerable is going to take a look at the Watery Pass. Did a little boss check there, found the 4 fiends, and is now going to raid Damsian. I've never seen that boss check before. It's really interesting. I like it. I like it, just in case of a rogue demist.
And also lets you check ahead of time if a nasty boss is there.
Absolutely, absolutely. We saw a wizard hat, and we saw a rune ring, a power staff. We've got all sorts of goodies for the wizards coming out.
And we got Starveils and Kamikazes at Agar.
Yeah. And Marth is actually going over to loot the Village of Mist, is rewarded with the Odin Summon. Odin Summon is great because you've got Rydia, but what I particularly enjoy about the Odin Summon is that it sells for a high amount of gold.
Indeed, it's usually a very good idea to either sell it, or you can save it for a Mom Bomb, or even Kaipo Guard.
Absolutely.
Scratchdragon just checked Mist and found Dark Elf.
And Invenerable is gonna do the free upgrade for Rydia in the summon. Finds the hidden bomb summon coming out of it.
Not every day you get to see that summon.
Not every day. It's not the greatest summon in the world, but it's something. It's something. And continues up to the backside of the mountain to loot the backside of the mountain. Right there. You got 4 treasures. Finds a charm rod and a power staff.
Power
Little,
staff
hey,
can
how
be
you
good
doing?
if you find a heroine.
Absolutely. Is going to throw that power staff on. It's going to see what he can see about getting some samurai arrows. Oh, nope. Power staff is what he's going for. I'm detecting a boss check here up in Mount Hobbs for Invenerable.
He might be wanting another character, especially with this mage-heavy party starting out.
Absolutely, and it's an interesting path to go, the old traditional path. There's
Especially
another chest, and we've got a Vanilla Yang at the top of Mount Hobbs, and Bahamut is guarding him. It's not going to be too
race it down.
Yeah, it's not going to be too bad, I don't think.
He did not find the Star Veils just yet, though. Oh, that Zeus Rage will definitely help, though.
Yeah, I think between the Zeus Rage and the Power Staffs, Invenerable is going to be fine. Meanwhile, Scratchdragon is going a more traditional route over here and starting with the Antlion Cave. It's going down, doing the standard looting. Antlion Cave is great. You get a key item from a boss that has 1,000 hit points. Very easy to deal with. And you get, I believe it's 11 or 12 treasure chests, something like that. A ton of possibilities to grab some really game-changing loot.
Indeed, and if the Antlion area has a good key item, it can give you quite the advantage.
Well, heroine robes and a dancing dagger definitely fit that particular bill. There it is. Take a moment right here to say thank you very much, Neon Gray, for the subscription to RPG Limit Break. We're looking at Mechalink takes a wipe to Bahamut and doesn't win that particular race. Not a huge time loss. And in the Antlion Cave down in Scratchdragon's screen, we've got a lunar boss, and that lunar boss is it's Wyvern.
Oh dear. We have both Dragon Kings so close to each other.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be tough to handle that one.
It is of note that Wyvern cannot block access to the underworld, though.
That's true. That's true. So it might be a moot point. And yeah, we can see Scratch. Yeah, Scratch is going to back right out of this. It's going to move on. Now, just because it's not blocking lunar access doesn't necessarily mean that it's not blocking access to the key items required to forge the crystal. So that would be an interesting thing to have to go and investigate in a later time when you could just one-shot him with, say, any old sword at a high level. Invenerable's gonna go find himself the rude awakening of Wyvern right there. Let's see if Inven can handle it.
Scratchdragon going up Hobbs as well.
Inven is just straight up attacking. And there's the Mega Nuke. It looked like Inven was real close to that one.
He was trying to race it down.
Yeah, only had a couple hundred left to go. Maybe it's going to be a matter of DPS on this one and just rolling damage. We can see a little more preparation coming out. Lays down a new save. I think Invenerable is going to give this one another shot. Yeah, there he goes. Changes the battle speed to battle speed 5 real quick.
Inven has not seen the Star Veils just yet as well.
That's right.
Scratch finding the 4 fiends once again, just as Invenerable did.
702 from that fight. Well, looks like Invenerable is going to get through this one now because that was a huge amount of damage, and there it is. Boom.
He raced down Wyvern.
Yeah, just smoked him. Yeah, it's amazing. I believe that was a Hero Robe charged Power Staff shot, and a Murasame is what Invenerable gets for that reward right there.
Unless we find an edge, that is practically a worthless find.
Practically, although I will say that it sells for a ton. So if you are in need of coffins, sirens, life potions, you name it, that's right there just begging to be sold for a cool, I believe, 25,000 or something like that.
Yes, it is quite a bit. And as the rules go, you sell his weapons, Edge will show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so everybody's kind of doing repeats of what everyone else has done. We see some Mount Hobbs checks. We've got Marth up there ready to face off on his Wyvern attack. There's 252 to start with. Isn't really going to cut the mustard. Let's see if we get a good dancing dagger. Well, 336 is not bad. 288, just one more shot with that dancing dagger is all it would take, but the Mega Nuke comes out and ends that particular bid.
And we have Invenerable checking Fabul.
Venerable's gonna do the Fabul Gauntlet spot right now. And scratchdragon hot on his ass.
And who do we have at the Gauntlet today? Oh, the Kaipo Guards.
We've got, is that the Kaipo Guards?
Yep, it sure is.
Oh, it is.
All you need to do is take out the soldiers and the officer will retreat. Although the officer is worth a majority of the XP.
It doesn't necessarily, I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of experience. I believe it's 5,500 from the total package. So, yeah, you're not missing out on a whole lot out of that. It's really about the key item and the loot behind.
Indeed.
And there's Scratch Dragon finishing up that fight as well. See a relatively similar approach to it all. Uh-oh.
And we have a hook seed.
Uh-oh. Invenerable looking at that hook, and you know what that means. Invenerable's probably very happy to see the hook come out there. Invenerable has been quoted as saying many times how he loves a hook seed.
It does greatly increase the challenge, but it also grants you a character along the way.
Gets you a character, it gets you a ton of good loot if you're willing to roll the dice and to see if you can avoid getting that 2 Stone Man chest. Also gets you another item shop, and if you care about it, the weapon and armor shops there too in Eblon Cave. It's a good thing right there, but you have to get through 2 very high-powered bosses in order to break on through to the underground. And that is a place where a lot of the more seasoned runners and a lot of the more comfortable runners running high-yield boss fights at lower levels, they can really pull away in a solid, no-holds-barred, can't-go-anywhere-else hook seed.
Invenerable finding nothing in Silvara today.
Silvara's just a check on the way. What Invenerable does here. It might be shopping percent coming out. And yeah, it looks like we get some shopping percent from Invenerable for a while. So Inven's going to do a little bit of a shopping spree while the others continue their excursions. Mechalink, reflecting that Mega Nuke back at Wyvern, must have been very, very satisfying.
It's always satisfying to see him hit himself.
Mechalink getting their Murasame.
And resetting, ow.
Interesting reset. Decides to forego it. Maybe saving a star veil or 2 or something like that.
It's incredibly possible. He may see the Murasame and think, maybe I can come back and get this later if I have an edge. Who knows?
That's true. And I mean, Mechalink didn't get a whole lot of consequential gear probably in that, so it stands to reason that that's merely a time check, probably a minute total, including the fight itself, from the time that you get in there. Invenerable talking to the well for some reason.
I think you forgot this is a hook seed.
Or maybe he just did it for the swag. Who knows? And Invenerable's going back into Baron, no doubt to go fight the Baron Guards fight and the karate fight behind it. In the Guards fight, we have Plague. That's a great spot to see Plague.
Oh, that's very free. It's very beautiful to see Plague in an area where you don't even have to worry about the cat.
Got 450 hit points to chew through, and that is all. And boy, it's got to feel good to get that boss fight out of the way. That's one of those. That's one of those boss fights that can really gate you hardcore.
There are several locations.
We've got another lunar boss behind in Ogo Pogo. That is a dreadful stretch.
Oh, he's just going to hit very hard in that spot, too.
That is a dreadful stretch of moon bosses. We've already seen 3. The only ones we haven't seen are Pale Dim and D's Lunars.
I guess they all moved to the Earth.
Yeah. The Earth is the moon now. Scratchdragon, again, hot on Invenerable's heels right there. Going into the same exact fight. We're seeing very similar routing between these two runners. And meanwhile, Marth and Mechalink are roughly in the same territory themselves. Well, that shot on Rosa there only did 52. This is a fairly viable fight as long as those illusions can be kept up.
And with the heroin robe, he won't be taking very much damage at all. Although that's a very close...
Yeah, we can see that the healing, while fairly substantial, is still not quite what you want it to be with that heroin robe, which tanks your wisdom and willpower by 15, I believe? Or is it by 10 in favor of 15 strength, something like that?
I believe it is 10 in favor of 15.
Yeah. But an early heroine robe is fantastic because you don't have a whole lot of hit points to heal. So even that Cure 2, nerfed as hard as it was, still cured about 200 hit points. You see Rosa's at 334 right there and is cranking out the damage. It's not doing too shabby. We got Scratchdragon using an exit to get out of Agart.
Some say it's faster.
And Marth is going up Mount Ordeals.
Oh, this could be either really good or really bad. He might be trying for a Magma Key.
Looks like Scratchdragon was thinking about it and decided against it.
Another dancing dagger for Marth.
And Venerable got a pan out of the chest, out of the check over there. Very nice to get before you go into the underground. And here come the sirens. And it is a fire sale. Everything must go. Oh, nope, just gonna grab 9 sirens and get out.
And we have Golbez on top of Ordeals at the Mylon spot.
Yikes. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do, Marth. Yeah, there it is. Marth goes ahead and resets out of that. I believe that means Marth is going to back right out. Now, that's an interesting play because Marth did have Star Veils, if I'm not mistaken, which means that fight was actually viable.
But I don't think he wants to deal with the entire dialogue box and various other problems that come.
It is a big time sink, and it is the first of 3 boss battles that you have up there. The only thing I would think of is if I'm making that play, I'm going all in on that. But if you're going to back out, that's the time to back out right there in the beginning of the first fight.
It is a shame.
Instead to shop.
It is a shame that he did not leave a save at the bottom of the mountain. He had to make the Walk of Shame back down because he cannot exit.
That's right. And we got another Rydia. We got another Rydia in Cave Eblon. And Invenerable is doing a check real fast here. Finds Dark Elf. Dark Elf in the D-Miss spot.
Mechalink taking on Plague now.
And scratchdragon, instead of foraging ahead, exits out. I wonder what Scratch's plan is right here.
He probably saw the boss and noped out.
Well, I mean, there are only so many places that you can go at this point. Maybe Scratch has decided that it's time to have a rematch against Wyvern.
He did not beat Wyvern the first time, so he's probably hoping a Magna Key's there.
This definitely is the seed of Nopes. Invenerable finds life potions in Kaipo.
Kaipo has value.
Kaipo has a ton of value. We had a baby mage in bed. Believe that was Palom. I couldn't quite see. It was very fast. I thought I saw some orange.
It's very hard to tell with them under the blankets, but I do believe it was a Palom. Looks like Marth is getting his hovercraft now.
Marth is planning for the future, is what it looks like. We got Cure 2s, Hourglass 3s, Invenerable Stream. Right
Very
there.
Useful to have those hourglasses. They stop enemies when used, but they do not work on most bosses.
That's right. We got the two Stone Man fight down there in Mechalink's stream. Speaking of stop, that's the trouble with that fight, is that even if you queue up one of those items before it goes off, they get an attack. Even after it goes off, usually the monsters are so fast that they get the attack that they had queued up, so you have to suffer one shot from each of them at the very least.
And I don't think Mechalink has found life potions just yet, so
not yet.
That could have saved him.
It could have saved him. More importantly, not having life potions is going to make this next part a little bit tricky. One of the grinds that a lot of people like to do with a low-level party in Hook Seeds is the 4 Mad Ogre Chest grind fight, where you kill one, and then at the end of that, you've got the life potion glitch where you can revive them at 0 hit points for a double kill. Gets you somewhere in the vein of 16k experience for everyone if you do it right.
And if you're really fast at it, you can sometimes get 2 life glitches off of one note.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that's a little bit scary about what we see right here is that blue magician, water hag / Fable Gauntlet sprite in the Rubicent spot. There's a 50% chance that it's Fable Gauntlet at Rubicent, which would be absolutely dreadful to see. A long fight and several attacks that you have to tank. That would be really, really difficult to get through. But the other side to it is that you have a 50% chance of it being Water Hag, which is mostly free.
As long as he doesn't attack too quickly, that Rubicon spot does have a very high agility at 50. Looks like everyone but Invenerable is noping out of the fight after they tried to check the Hook character.
Yeah, Invenerable is not afraid. Found those life potions, too. I think Invenerable is ready for this dive right now. A dive at 22 minutes into the upper tower of Babel. That's pretty good. And if you can get into the underground in under half an hour in a Hook Seed, you've done something that puts yourself way ahead of the racers. And this is what I was talking about by saying that you can see really seasoned, comfortable racers pull way ahead. We've got Asura is being learned right now. Mayhap there will be some healing there.
And we got the Ogres fight.
Here we go. Now he's going to lay down that Hourglass. Now, it looks like he's going to be safe on this one. There it goes. And they're stopped. It's not indefinitely, but it's functionally indefinitely.
Oh yeah, he will definitely get him down before the Hourglass 3 is up.
He's doing a little reorientation. Gonna revive everybody.
The menu boss is the worst one.
The menu boss is the worst. Menu is the real final boss. And whacks at herself.
He is aware he has a heroine robe.
1 damage. Yeah. I think I understand what Invenerable's trying to do here. He's planning on doing a little slingshot actions. Oh no, Berserk. He's trying to Zerk Rosa.
That's correct.
Yeah, he's going with those power staffs, trying to Berserk.
Although knocking out his Yang, not realizing heroine robe does make that staff hit pretty hard. Oh, and we have Mylon 1 at Mylon Z spot.
That is little French vanilla. So Scratch Dragon actually doing the Ordeals climb. Very interesting. Oh, it's so close. That heroine robe is going to protect her from a lot. There's the Berserk that it was looking for. So, Mechalink and Scratch Dragon have decided to do the Ordeals climb. Scratch is through.
Yep, all he has to get through is one last boss. Usually has mediocre health.
Yeah, 1,000 hit points to be exact. Their first battle with the menu boss. Invenerable wins that one. It's going to be a little bit of a time sink, this one. There's not a whole lot of damage that can be done at once. But the experience gain is going to be well worth it right there. And all Invenerable has to do is sit there and let Yang pound away.
And we have Rat Tail. We have Rat Tail and Ordeals.
Rat Tail and Ordeals is actual value. If nothing else, that is 2 key items in one right there. Because we already have the hook, so we can use our hovercraft to go see what the Rat Tail gives us immediately.
And that Rat Tail can give a magma key.
Absolutely.
We have seen runners actually make that play where they would rather do the Rat Tail with their hook and actually receive the magma.
This has been a stretch of real rough bosses early on. We had Valvalis, we had Golbez, 2 of the 3 bosses at the top of Ordeals. We had Plague and Ogopogo in Baron Inn.
We had Wyvern and Bahamut.
We are getting a lot of the really dreadful ones out of the way almost immediately.
One might even think that the moon's free.
If you are into that sort of play, absolutely. And sure Invenerable gets 16,590 experience, and there's the levels that you're looking for right there.
Ooh, that 21 boost.
Mm-hmm. That's a level 1 Rydia, so now it's a level 22 Rydia. And Scratch Dragon is going to do a... Is that a Lilith grind?
Wow, I have not seen a Lilith grind in a very long time.
This is highly unorthodox play. Love it. I love the unorthodox plays.
It's always fun to see something new and fresh, even if it's old.
That's right. And in the context of this league, that's fairly new and very fresh, and I'm digging it. I'm digging it right now. I want to know what Scratch's goal is here.
I'm not too sure. I would have left the Rydia down myself.
There's 11 levels for Rydia. Ooh. Okay, so in King Queen Eblon, we've got Mom Bomb. That could be a really dreadful fight to get through.
Especially with all of the physical attack that appears in that spot.
The casual 1360 on that Yang in the front row.
It wasn't the Water Hag or Gauntlet we had to worry about. It was the Mom Bomb.
That's right. That's right. And this is one of those spots that can always trip people up when you go into the underground. Huh? 800. Gonna be rough.
Any physical boss that appears in this spot is just so ludicrous because the attack power is through the roof.
Absolutely. Oh, even 347 against the Rosa with the hero in robes. This is going to be rough. King Queen Ebelon only has like 3,000 hit points or so, but that is still a tall order when those attacks are coming out hot like this.
It's going to be even more of a problem if he can't get the hourglass out in time once the Mom Bomb does explode. That would be 6 attacks in one.
It is indeed. Oh, I'm detecting a reset there, and there it is. So Scratch Dragon doing it to it. Gonna go after the. It's not doing the rat tail check. It's gonna go after the Baron in fight.
And it looks like we have Marth checking the Ebelin chest, probably to gather some items and get some.
And Invenerable is turning on encounters to gain experience. This is very interesting.
I love it.
I love it. I love this.
So many unorthodox plays, and I love it.
This is fantastic right here. So we had a Lilith grind at the top of Ordeals from Scratch Dragon. And now we have a grind in Upper Babel, a random encounter grind from Upper Babel from Invenerable right here. And over in Marth's stream, Marth has actually gone into Ebelon Castle and is fighting the 3 Mad Ogre fight in Ebelon Castle. Has no key items, but 3 trapped chests.
And those trapped chests can have very high tier items that can help win the game. But the big part is you're trying to get more XP.
So if I'm one of these runners right now and I'm doing one of these plays, it's got to feel like it's desperation mode, right? You've got to feel like maybe in some manner or another you are behind, or somebody's found something that you haven't found. But all of these runners have decided to do something a little bit different when it comes to approaching the weak nature of their party, because every last one of these characters is super squishy. You have the 2 Karates in the front, which are taking about 1,600 damage from a shot from Mom Bomb. Ooh, Stardust Rod from Marth. That's fantastic.
Ooh, that is very wonderful. That is one of the best rods in the game, if not the best.
If I'm not mistaken, that is a 15 additional wisdom whenever it's equipped.
Indeed.
Also, the other side to that too is you've got an instantaneous Stardust AoE, just like the J item, doing anywhere between 400 and 600 damage a shot to everything on the screen.
Essentially a mini Quake. It also pierces wall.
Yep, that's right. It's even better than Quake. And so we've got the Hourglasses coming out from Marth right there, fighting the 4-Skull Staleman fight. One of the trap chests is in Ebelon Cave, or Castle.
Mechalink just got his rat tail and is making his descent.
Hey, and there's the Stardust Rod coming out right now. Fantastic use of it. We've got Invenerable grinding on Balloon. I love this. 12,000 experience for that. Everybody gains a level, a couple 2 levels.
Balloons do give an incredibly large amount of XP for what they are.
That's
and
right.
we see Mechalink moving his hovercraft to check rat.
Love this. Love this.
Oh, but he is checking Silvara first. He will find it as a very dry area.
It's giving us the suspense. Come on, Mechalink. Just show us the goods. Show us what's what. Show us what we get for the rat tail.
And Scratch Dragon's making his way as well.
We get a Bacchus wine for that trap chest fight up in Marth's screen. Oh, here we go. Scratch Dragon is actually going to do the check first. What do we get for the rat tail?
The Earth Crystal.
Oh, I love this.
While that is not a magma key, it can lead to magma key, but it also leads to 2 additional characters.
Yeah, so here we go. We've got 12 to 14 treasure chests in the bottom of Toria, which immediately opened up. So you have access to all the treasure in the world. You also have to get through 2 bosses in order to get a key item at the top of the Tower of Zot with the Earth Crystal. But you do get 2 additional characters, and right now, I don't feel comfortable if I'm scratchdragon with the characters that I have. This play actually makes sense. If I'm going to avoid the dive as far as I've avoided it right now, I have committed to getting stronger, and this is a perfect way to do it.
Scratchdragon has been giving up the chest to go straight into Zot. Meanwhile, Mechalink is going straight into the...
So after doing a few grind fights, Invenerable is going back into this Mom Bomb fight. Threw up some blink, and is still getting whacked. Still getting absolutely whacked. But faring just a little better. Just a little better. And gets that Asura off. Boom, full heal for everybody, and we're back in the fight. And here comes that blink again. 720. Ooh, nice. Nice targeting right there. Very kind targeting. Boom, 552. We've got Rydias throwing Cure 2s. They're on potion throwing duty.
Looks like we have dolls on the Magus Sister spot.
Woo! Now, the beautiful thing about dolls, and the one thing that I never knew until starting to play this randomizer, is that the back dolls, the back 3, the cows, are susceptible to any number of things, including instant death, if I'm not mistaken, but definitely susceptible to stop. And why that matters is because the Brainas in the front have almost a non-existent amount of hit points, and you can easily kill them first. If you have the cows stomped in the back, it will not turn into Calbraina. They will just sit there and let you pound on them for a while. And Invenerable gets into Stay Puft Marshmallow Bomb mode, takes a minuscule amount of damage, and here it comes.
Let's see if he gets his hourglass off.
Hey! Looks like Inven is gonna get right through this fight just fine. Got the hourglass off before any of them had time to queue up their... oh, nope, there's one attack. There's the 2. Okay, so there they are. They're doing their queued up attacks right now. Takes out one that hadn't attacked yet. That's nice. And the Berserk Yang is going to take care of the rest of it. And then we get to see which side of the 50-50 we've got. Oh, this could be huge. It's not sub 30, but sub 40 coming into the underground is massive in the context of this.
We're looking for a water hag.
We're looking for a water hag. Is Invenerable going to sally forth? Turns back. Oh, Invenerable is not going to save. He's going to sally forth. Coming on in. What do we get? Oh, it's the Gauntlet! No!
Oh, baby!
No! Oh.
We have Mechalink reaching the dolls, and we are almost done on Scratchdragon's side. Looks like Marth is going down to challenge a very nasty boss that Invenerable just got done.
Meanwhile, yeah, Scratchdragon's screen, we are done with the Calbraina fight.
We will get our first peek at the 2 characters that we will be rewarded with.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Invenerable's turning the general into a toad. A berserked toad. Fantastic. I love this play.
Such an angry little frog.
It's such well, now it's a dead little frog. But that is one of 7 of these fights.
Oh, it looks like we have Octomam at the Golbez spot in Dwarf Castle, and we have another Riddy.
Oh my goodness. Another Rydia. And we get... Hey! Alright, so it looks like the Ordeals play actually worked out right here because we have a Paladin Cecil, which means that we have a use for that defense sword that we kept.
Or at least hope we kept. I do not believe anyone has sold it just yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone sell it yet. But yeah, scratchdragon is jumping at the opportunity, and there it is, defense sword. Bada bing, 107 on that attack power for the defense sword. Sold pretty much all of the other gear that could possibly be equipped, except for those Zeus gauntlets, but it doesn't really matter.
And we have Mechalink about to grab his own side. We're on number 3 for Invenerable's 7 4. Meanwhile, Marth is hitting up Mad Ogres for extra level.
So Martha's really going to town on that grinding trap chest. I really like that, actually. It's a heavy commitment. Heavy commitment to the party that you have and just diving deep into the underground. You're going all in on Hook, but you're kind of doing a safety all in on Hook, which with this party, super, super understanding.
We had a karate in the second boss of Zot, which is very easy. He just attacks 3 times, you hit him with Cecil, you're done.
Yep. Ouch! And what do we get for this play? Oh,
oh no.
Oh.
At the very least, he got a Cecil.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, for my money, the Paladin Cecil is the real reward out of this thing. It's going to put Scratch in a massively better position to fight anything in the underground. Possibly even do some boss checks that you wouldn't normally be able to do with this party. But the Pinktail, the way the flag setup works, does not give us the adamant armor, so it's kind of a dud item. To be clear, that is an opinion, because there are a lot of actually good things you can get from the Pinktail. It's set to give you another piece of random super strong gear, be it like a white lance or a ninja shirt or a glass helm, something like that. But it's not going to give you the power of an adamant armor.
Oh, of course not. But usually runners will not check Pinktail unless it's with Rattail.
Indeed. With this flag setup, I do not blame them. And Mechalink is done with their Tower of Zot play. It's going to go find the Pinktail. We'll see if Mechalink actually turns that baby in and tries to get something for it. Having a Paladin Cecil might actually be impetus to do that, because there's a lot of different gear that you can get that your Pally can equip. And Invenerable is still going after this Rubicent spot fight. Has turned everything into toads, and it's just making me so happy. It's making me so happy.
I believe this is his last fight, too.
I believe it is. I absolutely believe it is. The toad strats are real. It's not just the lunar frogs anymore, it's the Fabul frogs as well. And that's it. Invenerable has broken on through to the other side. It's a really great play. And this is going to put Invenerable at a huge advantage coming in. 42 minutes and 57 seconds into the underground. And, oh! Ha! Invenerable takes a couple of steps to the side, looks over, and sees that at the top of the tower, of the lower part of the Tower of Babel, we have D-Mist. We found him.
Mm-hmm. We have a high chance at Keyless Tower.
Oh, yeah. Keyless Tower has the value right now. To be clear, we don't have any part of Go mode. Like, nothing. In fact, we have hardly any key items at all.
We have a pan, a couple of tails, an earth crystal, a hook. Some people only have 2.
In fact, I think Invenerable just has the hook and the pan.
I don't know about you, but if I were him, I would go straight to the pan check after I'm finished with the item.
Yeah, you run the risk of doing a lot of back and forth when you just do that check and head on out. I think what Invenerable's doing right here is doing all of the shop checks that he possibly needs before doing those checks, before doing the pan check. Working this into what appears to be a fairly standard route, going to Tomra, doing the 6 items in the back in the little warehouse right here. Gonna give us validation. A medical secretary is what our dwarf is. Thank you very much, Invenerable.
That is an honorable occupation.
It is, absolutely. And then he's gonna go to the land of summon monsters in the Fey March right there, because there is another item shop to be had, as well as a free key item just sitting there in the vanilla rat tail chest spot, and then to go up and do the pan check.
He will likely check the 2 bosses in Fey March as well, and if they're doable, he may do. Although
He's
with
got
his
some
current,
levels.
yeah, with his current party, he could easily do the Fey March bosses, depending on what they are.
Yeah, depending on what they are. I mean, you can get some real nasty customers up there. Finds a crystal armor. There's some money. There's some money for you. And in that treasure chest, we've got Baron Key. So we've also got access to 2 more bosses, 1 key item, and then Odin's spot, which is another boss and key item.
As well as another character if you would like to swap out.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to do a little orientation here. As it's like we've got Samurai Arrow, Samurai Bow on our heroine robe, Rosa. And here comes the boss check. The suspense is killing me. It is Ashura and Water... Oh, no, God, no, that is not Water.
Oh, Lord.
That is Kanazo.
Kanazo is very rude in either of those spots.
Now, what's interesting about this, though, is that you've got a French vanilla Asura. That is a doable fight, especially with the illusions that he's... What is...
A bit of a long walk to do some siren.
This is interesting. I've not seen this. Okay, so he's gonna go to the back of a... He's gonna go grind on some eggs in the back of a mountain.
He's possibly grinding up to get Wall to face a Sora.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in the meantime, just casually stopping to the side to do his pan check. It just does the 1. Maybe he's just going for Cure 3, not going for Wall.
It's quite possible.
Wall is level 40, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a long way to Tipperary on that one.
Very much so, especially with so little item.
And we got scratchdragon and Marth trying to break on through to the other side right there. In the grand scheme of things, not too far behind.
Yep. Marth is on his 6th battle, if I recall.
That's right. Scratch is just now starting the Rubicant spot fight. And Invenerable gets an adamant for his pan whack. That is one side of the go mode that we are looking for. Huge value in the pan.
And if Sheila has Legend Sword, wow. Power play cup.
Yeah, power play city right there. Invenerable is gonna drop down a save and go on into the Dwarf Castle. part of the routing right here. You're going to do another check. You got 4 treasures, 1 on this side, 3 on the other, and you've got an item shop. Hourglass 2s look to be the only thing that's particularly of note there. Yeah, and he's going to grab 8 of those. Oh, not going to go after the treasure, though. Just going to mosey on out.
While there are many chests in the dwarf castle, it does take a while to reach. Does not look like he will be checking dwarf castle today for his key item.
Well, you've got 2 free checks right here. You've got the Sheila check and the Sheila Pan check. For my money, if I've got something for free, let alone 2 items for free, coming up there, I would want to do that first.
And it's also noted that Invenerable has not done ordeals yet either.
That's right. That's right. Invenerable has not done ordeals, so it doesn't have the rat tail or the earth crystal. Only has hook, Baron Key, Adamant, and Pan. 4 key items this deep into the race. It's about to be 6, but it's looking pretty thin on the key items front. Marth breaks on through to the other side. We get a Bahamut and a tower key. Oh, well, no need to do keyless tower anymore.
That is a beautiful find, especially if tower key does hold.
And Marth is going to lay down some sirens and do himself a grindy grind. Gonna berserk Rosa?
If she has Artemis arrows, that would be quite useful.
That's what it is. Yeah, I didn't see the Artemis arrows.
It is of note that if you have at least 1 arrow left while you are berserk, you will not consume.
Venerable is going to teach Bahamut. Very nice with 2 Rydias. Lay down a cabin and immediately go up the tower.
Could be 3 Rydias.
Could be 3 Rydias.
That would be silly.
Could be 3 key items right here, because you've got the top of the tower, but the top of the tower also has D-Mist, which is going to give you another key item at the Village of Mist. And then you've got the tower key location down in the super cannon room. It's going to put Invenerable at 9 key items, supposing that they are all key items that you get for this check. And if I'm running this, and I'm sniff and go mode, and I'm at 9 key items, that is probably the most annoying place to be, because then you have to juggle in your head. Do I go and grab 1 more key item to make that grind more efficient? Or do I just go, because I could run into a roadblock of doing a boss fight and instead of getting a key item, getting a glass helm or another big sort of shove off from the game?
I know this much. If any of those key items is darkness, Invenerable will dive Darkness Crystal. That's usually where he gets. That's usually where he gets most of his levels, where he does his grinding, and there's a beautiful double key item check at D.
So Mechalink and scratchdragon are still roughing it down there in the part of Upper Babel. Mechalink has yet to get through this mom bomb fight. It's a pretty tough fight. Is impossibly fast. Hits like a truck.
Thankfully, that defense sword does help Cecil quite a bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Only taking a mere 200.
Get that back row Cecil glitch going on. Doing it to it. And it looks like scratchdragon is going to be into the final part of their of the Babel Gauntlet. Is that what that is?
Looks like it.
Venerable is fighting D-Mist at the top of the tower right now. This could very well be a long battle. Oh, gets one of the Bahamuts off.
The problem with D-Mist isn't how hard it hits or its mechanics. It's purely it turns into mist.
Well, maybe it's not going to be such a long battle. Did 5,700 damage with that Bahamut, and it has a second Rydia. Oh, doesn't quite get that second Bahamut off and turns to mist.
Luckily, it only counterattacks if you directly fight it. So this Bahamut will miss and nothing will.
And scratchdragon finally breaks on through to the other side at 53-31. Says a pitfall.
And we have Mechalink now taking on his Gauntlet.
Validation gold. Sees the Mist Dragon right there, and if I'm Scratchdragon, Did Scratchdragon just do a double take?
Oh dear.
Scratchdragon just went, wait, what?
He is either very happy to see that or very upset.
Who got peak, double peak?
Because he might be thinking right now, do I do keyless tower?
Right. Now, at 54-17, it's kind of early to meta this one. I would caution any runner against going metagaming on a seed that they're racing against anyone on.
Agreed.
Sub-hour to 120. But you can't feel good about what you're doing right now if you've just broken through into the underground in this league at 52 minutes. So it stands to reason that we might see a couple of riskier plays from Scratchdragon, but it's not going to be anything too risky. Not anything too gambly.
And it looks like we have a life staff at the top of
top of lower Babel?
Indeed.
Yeah. Life staff is a pretty sweet healing item, especially for the final fight. Life staff white robe pretty much just lets you full heal with a cure 3.
Although cure 4 is definitely faster.
It's faster. It's way faster. But if you ever have to conserve MP, you like to do it at lower levels. Doing the fight with a more long game sort of strategy, which we don't see too often these days, but it is still viable. Cure 3 is definitely a way you can go. It's just minutely slower. But what do we get for the super cannon room?
We get a white spear and no cane to use.
So we got no key items from the tower. What do we get from the demist check? Is this going to be an 0 for 3?
Oh, and we have Marth actually fighting Asura.
Oh, it's an 0 for 3. Oh!
And Invenerable does not have Cecil either.
Oh, it's an 0 for 3, and there is no one that can use either the White Staff or the Excalibur in his party. That is a dreadful, dreadful check right there, and that's gonna feel real crappy. But you at least have a Baron key from all your other checks, and you're gonna move on. We've got more checks coming in, and he can't feel too shabby about his time getting into the underground. So here we go, going into the lower part of Baron Castle.
And we see Marth using a strategy with Star Veils, putting a Star Veil on someone who has a Star Veil to put one on a Star.
Yeah, and doing 7,700 damage a shot with that Artemis Bow, Heroine Robes, Berserked Rosa. 6,000 damage, just cranking out the damage right there. This is a huge check.
I believe she has mute arrows as well.
Oh, yeah. Mute arrows that does the old ×4. And we've got Scratchdragon doing a check in the Dwarf Castle right now. Nobody's done this check yet. So we've got massive divergence happening on these 3 streams right now.
Mechalink about to go into his final battle for the Gauntlet. Oh, we have Baron Guards.
Well, Baron Guards is going to be an easy one. You just stop them with an hourglass and say, "Hey, how you doing? Have a nice day." Meet my dragon Bahamut. We see a Luca key for our reward from the Ashura fight.
Will we see a Luca dive?
I don't know. I don't know that I would dive Luca right here. You might actually see a check. You might see a save outside of the cave and then a check reset.
It doesn't take too long to reach, but it does... It can have value sometimes.
That's true, and Marth hasn't even panned yet. And the king turns into king-queen. So all Invenerable has to do is just sit there and wait. And Invenerable doesn't have time for that. He's going to say, hey, I've got a friend. Meet my fire-breathing dragon. How do you like the burning corona of the sun? And gone.
You don't always have to wait.
So, for the second fight, in the rejoin, we've got a Palom. Down at the bottom of the dwarf castle.
Will he go full mages? No! He kicks Palom to the side. Oh, but...
Oh, Marth is doing the Kinazo check.
Scratch took Palom. There was a Porum at Invenerable's stream, and he kicked her to the side.
Took Palom, kicked out Iridia.
Technically, the Quake Kid can help in a lot of bind.
Absolutely. Let's see if Marth got that lit, scared him off in time. Even though you get that lit off, there is still a possibility of that wave coming out after, if it's queued up. What did Invenerable get for his reward at the bottom of Baron?
I believe that was Twin Heart.
Oh, we've got ourselves some music, folks. We got ourselves some music.
We're about to find out what Dwarf Castle had for value from Scratch Dragon.
Meanwhile, Invenerable's going to actually do the Odin check almost immediately.
He does have the levels for it.
Certainly does. And Marth's still tangling with Kinazo right there. If Marth gets something of value out of this Kinazo fight, that can put Marth in a huge advantage right here. Doesn't quite get that nerf off, but hey, still got Yangs on their feet.
And we get a power shirt from Dwarf Castle.
Oh. Power shirt from Dwarf Castle. It's pretty good. I'm not too pleased about getting a power shirt after sinking all that time into 2 boss fights and only getting a Palom out of it and no heavy hitters. But a power shirt is kind of nice, given that you've got Yangs.
Indeed. With his power scaling, that can be very useful in the end.
Ooh, Marth is in a bit of a pickle here.
Kinazo is a very rude boss to find on Asura spot.
Now, Kinazo's HP is down to the point where it's going to take a few shots in order to kill his Yang. But it might be diminishing returns in this fight, because once he turtles up in his shell, you don't necessarily know if you can do enough damage. Oh, and he's going full Bacchus on this one. Invenerable checks the Odin spot, finds Dr. Luge. Let's get into the second part of that Dr. Luge fight. And Marth finally resets out of that. Are we going to see a recheck on that one? Yeah, looks like it.
He's going in.
Takes the battle speed down to 4. And here we go. And meanwhile, Invenerable is roasting Dr. Luge. Laser doing only 134. That is nothing.
Those Bahamut's are coming very much in hand.
Yeah, you got 2 Rydias with Bahamut, and that pretty much seals the deal for most boss fights here. Invenerable breaks through that particular fight. What do we get at the end of this Odin spot check?
Just a ribbon.
Just a ribbon, and
Invenerable
resets out of that. I don't know that I would reset out of getting a ribbon.
It's possible he just did not want to deal with the poison ticks.
That might be. That might be.
Or he just doesn't like ribbon.
Maybe he just doesn't like ribbons. Surprised at that reset out of a ribbon.
It does
ribbon
prevent
is,
most
ultimate defensive
status
piece. Ultimate defensive piece, protects you against all statuses, also gives you a high evasion chance against things like instant death. But Invenerable says, no thank you, I want to do damage. I don't care about defense, I want to do damage. So he's going to do some damage. He's going to listen to the music while he's doing damage. We are at 1 hour and 4 minutes, and we've got one side of go mode.
And no access to the moon yet.
No moon access. Meanwhile, Marth is tangling with Kanazo up there.
He really thinks there's value in that Kanazo.
Well, you know, even if you don't think that, if there could be value in that spot, it's highly unlikely that you're going to find many runners that willingly go into the jaws of that particular check. I know that I would probably shy from it, and most runners would. If Marth thinks for a moment that he's got to make up some time, this is a beautiful, beautiful play right here. And if you get something of real worth out of it, you could see getting vaulted into first place big time from a check like this.
Definitely. If he finds Darkness, Crystal, Legend, or even the past could even help him at that point. But he is definitely...
Scratch Dragon goes ahead and sees what appears to be a little bit of relief, seeing D-Mist at the top of the tower. When Scratch gets that Excalibur, has a character to use it with. Very important for the final fight.
Indeed, it is Cecil's second most powerful weapon. And
I'm going to mute for a second so I can listen to the sweet, sweet music without having you guys echo. Invenerable. Apparently somebody followed Invenerable. That is an absolute treat. Well, I have no idea what song that is.
It is a Final Fantasy III song.
Huh.
I believe the dungeon.
Oh, nifty.
And it looks like Kanazo had a crystal ring.
Yeah. Crystal Ring. Crystal Ring is a great piece of gear. High magic defense and evasion. Adds, I believe, +5 speed to whomever is equipped with it. It's that speed boost that I really enjoy about it. One of my favorite things to do with the Crystal Ring is throw it on a Yang that has 2 cat claws and an adamant armor, and I go ham.
And it also prevents paralyze, including Golbez's, but sadly we've already seen him.
Yeah. So Marth doing the pan check right here, finds Bahamut.
Oh! We have Darkness at Twin Heart.
Oh boy, here we go. Venerable right out of there after finding the Darkness Crystal. See if he thinks he's got value.
I can tell you he is going straight to the moon.
Well, and it's not a bad play right here because given all of the checks that we've seen, there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of value other than that adamant down here on Earth. At least nothing that we have immediate access to. So it looks like the moon is going to be the play that we have to make anyway.
We have plenty of key item checks to check. We got a free character and plenty of X.
Yeah, and there it is, Invenerable going. Raise that big whale. Marth gets done with doing some errands up top. Gonna do some errands down here. I would love to see what's behind Luca Key. If Luca Key had Legend Sword, that would be
so beautiful.
Crazy. Love to see what's behind Luca Key. And that would give us an insight as to exactly how viable this moon strategy is. Because that's the only other spot that I can see having the Legend Sword down on Earth that doesn't require you to go to the moon in the first place.
Exactly.
However, given that, Invenerable doesn't know that Luca Key is down here on Earth, and even if he did, who's going to check it? That's not a check that people really want to go to immediately. A lot of runners will actually favor going to the moon over checking Luca Key.
With all of the big XP spots and so many key item checks so close together, I don't blame.
Sells the defense sword and the Excalibur for 26 Bacchus wines.
Well, if he never dives Earth Crystal, he will never need them.
Well, that's not entirely true there, Siegfried, because we don't know who's in the Crystal Castle.
He may pay for it if there's a Cecil there.
And what do we get?
I'm hoping for a foo. Oh, we get a twin.
It's Baby Mage. We get ourselves a Quack Kid.
Is he going to keep it or toss it?
He
is tossing a Rydia.
Yeah, chucking that Rydia for one Quack Kid. And if I'm Invenerable, I'm on the moon. I'm looking for go mode. I'm convinced it's on the moon. Palom is going to be one of the biggest things that I could possibly want in the final fight, especially if I'm going with hybrid strats. You get some high damage value out of that Palom with his nuke. And Rydia takes forever. Rydia takes 5 ever to get to nuke. It's good to see Mechalink back up there. Apparently had some problems with the stream.
Looks like he's checking his tower himself, having just defeated the Mist Dragon.
And Marth is checking ordeals now. This is interesting. It's going to take Marth down a little bit of a rabbit hole because we know that this goes to Rat Tail, which goes to Earth Crystal, which goes to nada.
Yep. All you get for it is a Cecil and a Pink Tail.
Well, the Cecil is its own reward, I feel.
And yeah, he can win the battle all on his own.
It looks like Invenerable is going to grind it up. It looks like we're doing a little shenanigans here with some slingshotting. We've got Palom just got dropped in the middle right there. It's either slingshotting or it's anchoring, one of the two.
Palom is kind of slow, but not that slow. even at his low level, but it is slower than the characters he has.
Oh, just barely gets that life potion off. Invenerable winning the boss fight, the menu boss fight again. He gets 90,000 experience for that. 3 and 4 levels, 4 levels, 4 levels. Looking pretty darn good. I wonder if there's going to be one more that Invenerable can do right here. Nope, just going to charge on through.
I believe he feels very confident now.
Yeah, we're not grinding for the final fight here. We're grinding for bosses in the Lunar subterrane. And quite frankly, we don't have to grind for the final fight, considering we're going to be getting a boatload of experience from these checks in the first place. You got 100,000 experience coming out of the D-Lunar spot, which, for my money, is probably going to be the first spot that Invenerable checks. Unless Invenerable likes to do things in total reverse and goes to Ogopogo first. Yep, and there it is.
Not only does it give 100,000, it also gives 2 key item checks.
Ooh! This!
We have hailed him.
This is an interesting spot right here.
Looks like he's going to go for summon strats because he's floating.
Absolutely.
And Hail Dim will counter with Quake whenever he's hit by...
That's right. That's right. Again, some real heady, real smart plays coming from Invenerable here. Some creativity all the way. And we can see how people who really familiarize themselves with the minutia of the game approach the game in a completely different manner, as opposed to just powerhousing raw DPS. We've got Bahamut, which will get you faster to the end of this one, which I believe is 40,000 hit points, because it's
quite a bit.
Yeah, it's 20,000 hit points per dragon, I believe.
Indeed.
So 40,000 hit points. You can chew through that a lot quicker with a little summon strategy.
I believe it is the second highest life spot next to Element.
That's right. That's right. Elements being the highest. Elements, the true boss of the giant percent seeds.
Indeed.
So Marth is taking up that rat tail, not resetting, going after Valvalis. 62-37 and done. A little overkill.
We have Scratchdragon hitting up Lugia Odin, and we also have Mechalink hitting up Bear.
So Mechalink, Scratchdragon, and Marth all doing checks that each other has done. So they're all kind of running themselves in a circle down here on Earth. Meanwhile, Invenerable is going after the moon. And you've got to think that Invenerable, at this juncture, is pulling way ahead. Given the experience that he's gaining from all of these boss fights and the extra checks that he can do right here. And it all started with that really early breakthrough into the subterrane.
Indeed. He also avoided a potential rabbit hole that almost every one of the runners have gone.
That's right. Doing the ordeals check. And we'll see if, it's hard to imagine that Marth isn't going to do the rat tail check and then isn't going to do the earth crystal check after that. But you never know. Sometimes you can look at earth crystal like that and go, you know what? Nah, forget that. I'm going to go do my thing. But it's easy at these levels to think of the earth crystal spot as fairly trivial to get through. King Queen Abalon spot was Mom Bomb.
Correct.
Yep.
Not
just
Mom.
To respond to something in chat.
And all of the runners had some sort of difficulty with the Mom Bomb during that time, but they did get it.
Oh, yeah. That is an understatement. So we had Invenerable look through the white magics real quick. Equipped Rosa down at the bottom with Life Staff. And then parried. So Scratch Dragon takes the ribbon, walks on out.
We have Marth actually in Troya selling up, and he might be going to...
Yeah, I have to think that he's going to do a Zot check right here. Just looking for a space to put new gear. I wonder if this is just so that Marth can take a look at some treasures. Has a little indecision right there in the shop, though. Kind of speaks to maybe a headspace of a little bit of doubt about this next play right here. Just messing a little bit with the order, party order right here. Messing a little bit more with the party order. Now puts Rosa in the front. Now puts switches around the Yangs. There's a lot of second guessing going on right now, and then finally goes up to the top of the tower, Zot.
We have Scratch Dragon heading down to the Twin Harp. That'll net him his Darkness Crystal. He's using the poison from Luge to lower his HP to more easily get through the first phase.
And that is a move that I absolutely love right there. Using the boss scripts to your advantage right there. You know you're going to take at least 1 damage from Fire 2, Ice 2, Lit 2 coming out of the scripted encounter, and you want to end that encounter as fast as possible. It's the way to do it. Oh, and the highest HP character right there. Oh, remember he has kamikazes. Doesn't quite get that off in time. And Marth entering the Calbrena fight at the top of the Tower of Zot. And Bahamut's probably going to roast him in one shot. See that?
And we have Mechalink taking down Luge himself.
Boom.
Now on the second phase. Invenerable still slogging through that 40,000 HP of that Paladin.
It's a lot of hit points, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Leaving that Palom dead in the center.
Likely
probably for anchoring strat. Because it looks like what's going to happen here, if this is indeed Invenerable's final party, is it looks like it's going to be a hybrid strat, but mostly it's going to be Zerk, Yang, and Go. Heavy heals with Rosa. You got Bahamut, just in case you need something a little extra coming out in the back end of it. Or, in a desperation move, if you need to do it, I believe Invenerable learned Asura with Rydia, so you have 2 sources of healing right there, and you can just kind of leave Palom to be a dead weight. And speaking of dead weight, there's a dead Paladin right there, and 100,000 experience comes on out. See what our 2 treasures are.
A spoon and an Artemis bow.
Well, the Artemis bow is nifty, but it's not what I'm looking for, and the spoon is just another key item, which makes up for the fact that Invenerable's got, what, 7? It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 key items right now. So it's good to see at least one of those. Yeah, I can't be too happy about that pickup. But you still got plenty more checks, and you've got the Ogopogo spot out there. High experience yield out of that. And then right next door, you've got the Plague spot. Speaking of Plague spot, and Scratch Dragon grabs the Darkness Crystal from Music Percent.
And we have Mechalink following right behind.
Oh, and Invenerable finds a freebie right there. Dark Imps in the Plague spot. Yeah, they made hit hard, but they only hit once. That's all she wrote right there. Coffins. Coffins take care of them. They're susceptible to everything. Stop, poison, frog, mute, coffins. Mute doesn't do a whole lot. But they're susceptible to all of it. And it looks like we've got another... Yeah, we got another slaying of poor Palom in the center there.
Marth taking the third Rydia and the Cecil.
Interesting. I'm loving this. We've got a very strangely divergent set of parties right here. Very strange set of parties. We have Paladin Cecils and we have Paladin Cecils and Mages, and then up in Invenerable stream we have Yangs and Healing, and Invenerable finds the pass.
That means he only needs to go down back to Earth one more time and forge his crystal if the Legend Sword is indeed on the moon.
That's right. And so far, we don't have a reason to go back to the Earth as of yet. There's nothing up here that we've seen that has necessitated a journey back home. And I don't think there's going to be. We've seen Earth Crystal, and we've seen Twin Harp, and we've seen Baron Key. We've seen access to all of the places on Earth. So we're really not going to need to go back except to forge a crystal.
And there's the water hag we were hoping for back at the Rubicante spot.
What a great spot for water hag. That is freer than free right there. Water hag hits really hard, don't get me wrong. But all you have to do is hit it with something, and that can be a level 1 spell for 1 damage, which it probably will be right here. But it is the freest of free spots right here. And everybody's going to get that experience too. Arg! And he's down. Let's see if we got value in Ogopogo. Oh!
There it is.
Oh, baby!
We have go mode. And he has a pass to help him get right to zero.
That's right. For Invenerable, the light is green. He is in go mode, and it's time to grind. Maybe even not. Looks like Invenerable's going to exit out. Not going to take any more of these gold dragon fights. I wonder what his... I wonder what he's going to do as far as levels are concerned.
It's possible he could scramble some eggs while he's back on Earth. While they are inferior to the gold dragons, they still do give considerable amount of XP.
There is one thing I'm fuzzy on this flag set. Is the pass considered a key item?
No, it is not.
Okay, so that means that Invenerable's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 key items. He's going to have 9 key items at the end of it, if the pass doesn't count.
He will not have the double XP from having 10 key items.
And that could be real tricky. If the pass counts, then he has 10. But the pass doesn't count, so he's going to have 9. Oh, the pan. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, no, never mind. He has 10 key items.
Oh, the pan is very tricky to see.
I couldn't see the pan. Couldn't see the pan. Yeah. So actually, eggs is the most viable strat here. 68k experience and go. I don't know that Invenerable has to do many. Math is hard. Seeing is harder.
Indeed.
And there's Invenerable's favorite grinding spot right there.
Right on the tip of the peninsula. And it does look like he is using the Palom as an anchor, so he will not be slingshot.
That's what it looks like, all right. So the word is go right here. Single shot from Yang doing 2,300 with that power skill. We've got scratchdragon deep in the lunar subterrane right now. Scratchdragon is going to be hot on Invenerable's heels, but I don't think that Scratch is going to be able to make up the time.
Not unless he thinks Ogopogo has something, but that would be way too risky.
Now, what's interesting about this, though, is that Scratch has a Paladin Cecil right here and an Excalibur, making this fight just a little bit more viable. Just a little bit more viable, especially with that Zerk. We've got one damage coming from Pale Dim onto Pally Cecil right there. So this fight might actually be a lot quicker than Invenerable's Pale Dim fight. It's going to make up a little bit of time. Scratch is also already at 10 key items, it looks like. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yep, that's 10 right there. So it's going to get double experience from this. That's 200,000 experience from this fight. A lot less grinding needing to be done, right?
Sometimes the grind is the big key factor.
Oh, and we've got Mechalink looking for value.
But we already know Bahamut does not have value this seed. I'm sorry.
Oh, Mechalink, turn back, buddy. Turn back.
I mean, it's an hour and 30 minutes in. He's probably thinking the runners went down the other way.
Right.
And he's thinking maybe Bahamut has it. Oh, and we got Rubicon.
Sees Rubicant right there and decides to grind.
I mean, if you're there, you might as well.
So interesting to see what Scratchdragon is all about right here. It looks like he's all about Berserk Cecil with an Excalibur. I'd be all about it too.
I mean, it's really good to do. It's safe. Why not?
Ooh. And Invenerable just got back in the airship. It looks like it is go time.
You know what that means.
That means we get to ask everybody's favorite question. And Siegfried, what is that question?
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
Let's see some pixelated behind kicked.
Get your Z flags out.
Get your Z flags out, everybody. It's go time. The light is green. The light is green. One last check to see who's got what on what. And do I have a pass? Why, yes, I do. Well, have a good time. Don't mind if I do. Here we go. Invenerable entering the final fight at 1:30:45. And let me tell you, way ahead of everybody else right. And in the end, I think that what we're seeing as far as the difference between Scratchdragon and Invenerable here is the difference in between them in how fast it took them to get to the underground. I think the gap was never widened, but it was also never narrowed right there. And so This is sort of the logical conclusion of that start right there. Invenerable breaking through in about 40 minutes.
And he did not shy away from the hook. He stayed in the tower and grinded in the tower while everyone else went looking for a magnet.
All right, here it comes. Hallam used that crystal. Oh, and Yang uses gets that Bacchus wine off immediately. His true colors emerged. Grr, erg.
And we have Moonimus. I mean, they're Moonanites on the moon.
What is Aqua Teen Hunger Force crap doing in this?
This is great.
We are the Moonanites, and we are going to destroy the world.
Oh, that is just so beautiful.
So, as predicted, we've got some Berserk Yang going out, and hybrid strats to the max. White on Rosa, bouncing right off Rydia, going into there for 7,000 damage. That's going to make this go wicked fast. And you only need one claw.
While Yang does do very well Berserk, his damage is not the same as, say, an Excalibur or Cecil. So hybrid strats is very much viable.
I'm loving the fact that Invenerable just bounced a Lit 3. And that you never see level 3 spells bounced on Zeromus, but right there, we just saw how much damage can actually be done with just a simple level 3 elemental spell against Zeromus. We saw 4,500 damage on that. It is not negligible. It is very, very significant right there. And I love that he showcased that.
He does have a Stardust Rod on her, if I recall, and that does increase the damage considerably.
Indeed, and 15 Wisdom does definitely get you there a little bit better, but even without that, you would see somewhere in the vein of 3,800 damage coming from it. It's still a very powerful spell. And there's an Azura. Throws down an Azura for some healing so that Rosa can continue cranking out damage with that white spell. He's playing backwards. It's like in baseball when you're pitching backwards. He's playing backwards right here, and it's fantastic. Meanwhile, down in the lower right-hand corner, scratchdragon finishes the Water Hag fight, gets the Legend Sword, and bada bing, bada boom, it is go time for Scratch as well.
If he's already done grinding, which, his levels are a little low, he would be definitely on the tail of Invenerable, but I don't think he'll be able to get.
And that was a simple warp down so that Scratch could walk just a little bit quicker to get to that King Ryu grind. Scratch also did that Plague Spot, so has the pass. So this is going to be a race for second place right here. And in that particular race, Scratch Dragon is way ahead of the other two. I have not seen a margin this wide, first, second, third, in a while.
Looks like we're getting really close on Invenerable's stream.
Yeah, I believe we have phase change right there. We saw a black hole come out. Rosa's going to throw out a Berserk. I think that the hybrid strats are done, and now it's Zerk and Cure. Oh, no, we are in phase 3. We've got Falling Rocks, and Invenerable sees the finish line right there.
Rocks fall, and everyone dies. Although in this case, only one dies. Oh my. He's trying to get the quick kill.
He's going back to the kamikaze strat. He's finishing with swag, ladies and gentlemen. It's kamikaze and go, go, go. It's done.
GG.
And there it is, the swag. The swag finish. Oh, baby, right there. Beautiful. GG's to you, Invenerable, with a time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 11 seconds. Holy crap-oly.
Sometimes it proves if you just keep at it, sometimes it'll help you pull ahead.
See if we can get Inven in here for a little old interview.
Before that, Marth is checking Luca Cave. It's a shame.
Yeah, we'll get Invenerable in just a second. He says he needs a sip of water and sit down before. He's got to calm his nerves for a second. That was a nerve-wracking seed. Very unkind seed right to the start. And Careful what you wish for, Muppets, because I wanted to see what was behind Luca Key, and apparently Marth is going to show me that.
I have a feeling it's going to be a Sand Ruby package or a Magnet.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those three. At the very least, it's not going to send Marth down a huge rabbit hole. So Marth will still have a chance at third. What's it going to be? Sand Ruby. Yep, and there's the reset. Not a large surprise. Scratch Dragon has forged his crystal. It is go time for Scratch right there. Did Scratch do any grinding?
Yes, he did.
Okay, great.
He ground gold dragons.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It warped out to a couple of rooms down and did some gold dragons. And here we go. Oh, hello, Invenerable. Congratulations on your first place finish, sir.
Thank you. I needed that, and I'm glad I got it. Not even though I did my darndest to keep myself from getting it. I'm glad it still worked out in the end.
Well, I got to tell you, this was a really interesting seed to watch. Somewhere around the 40-minute mark, because we had a lot of divergent paths there, and you were the first one into the underground by like 15 minutes or something, and you were the first one to the moon by a lot.
You see, I felt behind the entire seed when I saw that mom bomb and got dunked on. Like, I'm sure you saw me like walking back and forth, like, do I go to Ordeals and hope for like a magma key behind some kind of chain? But then I figured, if it's on Ordeals, I've already hosed myself. I need to commit to the play. What was on Ordeals, if you don't mind my asking?
Ordeals had a rat tail, which led to an earth crystal, which led to Bupkis.
Oh no! Okay.
Yep.
So, being tempted by the blue robe was a good thing, not a bad thing this time. But yeah, I saw that because I'm like, if it's Water Hag, it's free. If it's Gauntlet, I bought a whole bunch of hourglasses. I can deal with attrition there.
That's right.
But then Mom Bomb, and I'm like, oh no.
Just to give you an idea of where we're at with everyone in Venerable, Scratch Dragon has just entered the Zeromus fight, and the other two don't even have go mode.
Gotcha.
This was one of the most unkind seeds to start with that I've seen in this league this year.
I've been waiting for an unkind. I love unkind seeds. I feel that I get a chance to excel the ruder it is, and this one definitely, like I said, I felt like I was behind, because then, let's see, Tower Key and Mist Dragon and Dr. Lugae Spot all had Bupkis.
Right.
And then, oh my god, that Pale Dim fight. How many times did you think it cast slow? Like 50?
Yeah, it cast slow about 1 billion times. It definitely lasted way long. Props to you for actually toughing through it too.
Yeah, by the time I had done, I know that spot only has 42,000, and I thought, at this point, if it's, because the team wasn't going to get a lot better for purposes of fighting Pale Dim. I mean, I could have grinded up to Nuke on Rydia. The Yongs weren't going to do that much unless I took all their claws off to get rid of that elemental resistance thing. But then you nerf your Yong's accuracy, and I didn't want to do that. So I just grinned and bared it, and I thought, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose so badly. But luckily, going for ignoring Ordeals and then going for Twin Harp. And I finally learned my lesson of the last 5 seeds I've played, and that's don't do Fey March bosses, especially if they're Asura and Kenatsu. Just don't do them. They're a bad idea.
Yeah, well, they were very rude bosses there too, Kenatsu especially. But let's go back just a couple of statements there. You said that you love super rude seeds. What specifically are you referring to? Is there one thing that you love to see more than anything in a seed?
A very difficult hook boss.
Ah, there it is. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, what is it about the hook seed that attracts you so, that makes you think that you've got an advantage over?
Well, for one thing, it makes things a lot more linear, so I don't have to be paranoid that I just gambled on the wrong path. Although I did gamble this one, assuming Ordeals had nothing. But if you're willing to see that boss, you can always say, okay, I see that boss, I don't have quite the levels, I'm leaving some stuff in the overworld, but I know I can deal with that boss. And it's one of those situations where game knowledge can give you an advantage beyond simply picking the right path.
Absolutely. We saw a lot of very creative things from you, including grinding on random encounters in Upper Babel, turning the Fubble Gauntlet enemies into frogs. And then
I didn't have enough DPS, so I'm like, how can I make them weaker?
Right, and then one of my favorites, actually, floating your entire party and going with summon strats against Pale Dim.
Yeah, the reason I did that is because, well, pardon me, to go back to the grinding on random mobs, I knew Rosa couldn't need too many more levels to learn Blink, and if I get Blink, I can beat that fight through attrition. And so, did the 2 random encounters, she learned it, I'm like, okay, there we go, now we can get through.
No. Siegfried, you got anything?
Yes. During the Pale Dim fight, while it was definitely a war of attrition, very, very long, you didn't reset
it was bad.
once.
You can call it bad. You can just get it out there.
Oh yes, you didn't reset, and I think that was probably... It did set you back a little, and I bet it was going through your mind, oh, I'm falling behind, weren't you?
Oh, and also, yeah, not just that, but the simple fact that I had not seen a magma key. Like, anytime you leave something hanging in the overworld, you hope that, like, your Feymarch chest or your pan checks will give you a magma key right quick, so that you don't feel that you possibly left that hanging. And I saw in the spoiler log that it was apparently at Pale Dim spot, so dodge that bullet, but it still looms over your head the entire time.
Oh, definitely.
Love the swag play on the kamikaze in the end, by the way. That was a nice touch.
Really hoping Rosa would get hers in and skip the crumble animation, but I'll take it.
Well, Invenerable, any final thoughts on Seed?
I'm just very glad to join the really... so my buddy Baka Shinobi, I think he is currently commentating the other race tonight, told me to do my best to join the first place, second place, fourth place club. And so now I get to be in the Cool Kids Club with Baka Shinobi. So I'll take it.
Outstanding. Well raced, Invenerable, and congratulations on a first place finish.
Hey, thank y'all. Thanks to the Restream team, the commentators. Muppets, great to have you back on comms. Missed you there, buddy. And everyone have a good night.
Thank you very much, Invenerable. And we got scratchdragon coming out, and whoa! Well,
we got second place.
Tune back just in time to see the shake, rattle, and roll of Zeromus. Scratchdragon finishing with a time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 27 seconds. Congratulations to Scratch on that one. Now we've got 2 finishers. What do you think is going through Marth and Mechalink's heads right now?
I'm pretty sure Mechalink's going to hit Plague, which is what he's doing now with the Dark Imps, and then he's probably going to go down to Ogopogo, find Legend, go, oh, go mode, let's go. And he's getting his pass right now. And Marth, he's probably reaching really hard for Legend. He's checking all the places everyone else has already been.
Yeah, and you can see in some of Marth's plays, Marth is going for the tertiary plays.
He has not gone down into the lunar subterrane at all.
Yeah, refused to go into the moon, and it looks like, once again, the moon was the difference right there. See if we can get Scratch in here. See if we can get Scratch in here for a quick one. Hey, Scratch Dragon, welcome, and GG's. How you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see you. Yeah, this seed was something.
Yeah, this seed was especially rude right to begin with, and naturally it would end with a path that takes you into Ogopogo, like naturally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's 52 minutes, and you've just broken through the underground. What are you thinking?
Honestly, with the party that we had, I figured that I might have been somewhat even with them, with the rest of the racers, because Mom Bomb in the front. If they didn't get slowed down by Mom Bomb, I definitely, like, it's either they got slowed down by Mom Bomb and we're even, or I'm behind. So I'm just there like, all right, time to just do everything, because the seed is busted pretty much wide open. I have the pan. I can go and do summon creatures. I'm not doing summon creatures. I know where Mist Dragon is. So I just start clearing out the underground. Underground's empty. Clear out the overworld. Overworld's basically empty until I find, naturally, the very, very last item, which is the Darkness Crystal.
That's right. That's right. So you get the Darkness Crystal, and you're looking up. Nobody's finished yet. What's going through your head?
Go.
Right.
I mean, it's not stop. It's not slow down. It's not briskly walk. It's fight everything as fast as you humanly can and go. The slow fight at D Lunar's spot at this point, the Pale Dim was probably the thing that slowed me down the most there.
You know, funny enough, Invenerable had an even slower Pale Dim fight than you did.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that fight was super, super rough. So when you're going up to the moon, you're hitting the lunar subterrane. Talk to me a little bit about your the order of operations in your head. Like, what is it that you're looking for specifically, as far as where you go first? Is it a touch and feel sort of thing? Do you do it by the numbers? What exactly do you do?
I used to do it by the numbers, and then Rivers happened, but no, in this case, I have a couple of different scenarios when I go up to the moon. If it's an early moon, like it's a hook seed, and you get up to the moon and you have a way of dealing with King Ryu's, I'll go over to Bahamut, check what boss is there, grind, and then maybe go to the underground if one thing or another. Otherwise, I'm pretty much, in this case, I was advanced a level enough that I could go down and do the D Lunar spot, get the experience, and then clean up the rest of the spots. It just happened to be I didn't need to clean up the rest of the spots because Water Hag.
Yeah, because Water Hag.
Because Water Hag.
Freer than free boss. Still hits like a truck if you can't quite handle the DPS 1600 coming at you. But yeah, it's pretty free.
Yeah. At the point I found a pan, and then I found the adamant behind there. I said, I'm probably not too far behind if no one went and did ordeals, because the seed had no incentive to do ordeals.
Yeah. And for a good majority of the Earth checks, you and Invenerable were neck and neck. Maybe you were a minute or two behind, but it wasn't anything that couldn't be made up. It just was little bits here and there, little checks here and there that you did on the Earth that Invenerable did in a different order that led him to the Darkness Crystal. Yep.
I figured as much, because I was going more by, like, okay, so follow me here. I just ended up finding, finishing out the underground. I have the pen in my hand, and I'm thinking to myself, why not do the top of tower? There's Mist Dragon there. It will count as 2 items. And then I said to myself, stop being stupid. Go turn in the pan and watch. You're gonna get the tower key. So, like, the ordering of the way I did things was, like, I mean, it was the safest way of doing it. Instead of going back and checking things, the only thing I didn't do was summon creatures. That would have been just an awful slog, and I said, no, if it's there, I'll just lose. I'll take that.
Just to give you an idea of what kind of a seed we had on our hands here too, Mechalink has just entered the Zeromus fight now. and Marth is just on the moon grinding on King Ryu's.
Ugh.
Yeah. So this has been an absolute slog of a seed. And GG's to you on finishing it in sub 2, quite frankly. Siegfried, do you have anything?
Yeah, I noticed you did a double take when you saw Mist Dragon. What were you?
I wasn't. I kind of just ran in, ran out, and then got confused myself to where I was. I was like, wait a second. Because I was marking off my tracker and sneezing at the same time.
Oh dear.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Funny story. At the beginning of the race, right as we hit 0, I sneezed 8 times.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It was a good start to the race.
Great. Sneeze percent.
Sneeze percent.
Love it.
Just one quick question on my end though. Did anyone go and do Earth Crystal before going to Hook, or did everyone just go straight to Hook and deal with Mom Bomb and
I believe everyone except Invenerable did Earth Crystal because everyone except Invenerable did Ordeals.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Once again, Ordeals seems to be the difference, huh?
Yeah, well, in this case, it wasn't a bad idea.
No.
Because you had Sirens and Cure 2s, and you can gain a couple of quick levels and check stuff.
Also, you got a Paladin Cecil out of the Earth Crystal spot, too, so it actually had some significance.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I was holding on to that defense sword for life and limb. I was like, sell it at the beginning and just get your Sirens.
Yeah. Well, Scratch, any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's not looking good for everyone's hero here. The necks have been clean, but I haven't been taking them. But I think if I get a first place in this next race, I might make a play-in. So everyone should keep an eye on that in every other race that's coming up. It's actually very tight right now.
It sure is. And there are some fantastic races and divergent routes, and really seeing a lot of good stuff out of there. Congratulations on a good finish there, Scratch.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll catch you guys later.
We got Mechalink in the final fight right now. It looks like we've got some hybrid strats coming out, bouncing some white. It's got Paladin Cecil in the center.
Usually that's a very odd one to anchor with. Maybe he doesn't think he needs to anchor.
Obviously he doesn't. He's cranking out 4,000 damage with a defense sword. Looks to be just fine and just under control for Mechalink right there. 6,800 damage from that nuke. Radia's got nuke. That says something.
Looks like rocks are about to fall.
We got that shake. Oh, it's not a defense sword. That's an Excalibur.
Looks like Marth is checking the Bahamut spot, which has Rubicon.
Yeah, Robocent at the Bahamut spot that's a pretty tough find right there. You're hard pressed to get any good solid DPS when he's got the cloak open, just because he's so fast. And there it is, shake, rattle, and roll. Mechalink takes Z down in very fast fashion. Very fast fashion with a time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 30 seconds.
He made the sub 2 hour mark.
Made the sub 2 hour
to
mark. That's something with a seed like this. See if we can get Mecha in here for a little chat. Is just Mecha here? Yeah. Martha's just having a rough time of it right there with that Rubicon fight. Hey, and there he is. Mechalink. Good game.
Good game.
Rough seed, right?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, so the seed of the week is very Yang heavy, and I made a comment once I was done that I felt like it was propaganda for the anti-Yang crowd, because the early game with Yang is so torturously weak.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. So yeah, you got a couple of mages, a couple of Yang. So you basically got a party of marshmallows.
Yep.
What do you think an early game there when you see Hook coming out so early?
I mean, my main thing I was thinking was that I would really not love to. I mean, wouldn't love to dive Hook, and when I saw that it was a blue thing, I knew that either way that fight could be beat. Question was what in front, and in fact, like if I try to dive there, Mom Bomb would have ripped me apart. Like I needed more levels to get past Mom Bomb, than I had at the time.
The Mom Bomb fight was rough, and everybody had some struggles with it. Everybody had some struggles with that.
I mean, I felt all right about things. I was honestly pretty hopeful. Invenerable's been talking down Feymarch all week, and so when Feymarch eventually led to darkness, like I felt like I had a shot.
Right. So you got down to do ordeals,
right?
And you see the rat tail to earth crystal, and you got an option. You know, what makes you go do earth crystal? What do you see in the value there versus going somewhere else for a single key item there?
So it gets me exit as a non-item. For one, my Rosa. My party is struggling here at this point, right? Like we're looking at multiple Rydias without a summon. We're looking at people like our best case here is like 2 Rydias and 2 Yangs and a Rosa, and right, like that's not where we can do anything, right? So the characters suddenly seemed super relevant to me, right? Additionally, it lets you check a lot of chests for essentially free, and that's not a bad thing. We never got any mage rod higher than change. We never got any mage gear, white or black shirt for me. None, any of that would have been very helpful. It just never came. Tiaras are all we saw on the mage side.
Yeah, tiaras are good for your Rydia, but
yeah, not so much.
More of a defensive item for Rosa and Porum. Yeah. So you end up going to the Lunar subterrane, and I've asked this question before to the other runners. I'm going to ask it to you. Talk to me about the order of operations. What is it that you look for specifically when you're going to the Lunar subterrane as what you do first and why?
So for Lunar Subter, basically it's all about the numbers, right? Like you go down to the bottom because it gives you the quickest access to the 5 checks at the bottom. Like anything else, right? So the path, and I know it's the path that Invenerable does essentially as well, is you do the 2, the 1, you do the Ogopogo spot, and then when you come out of Ogopogo, you get to warp, and it puts you right back at the entrance to that floor. And you quickly just get to duck in and go up the Wyvern, right? Like, so that's right. If you go back if you try to do Wyvern first, right? Like you don't get any of that routing, right? Like you have, you don't get anything kind of extra there. And you also don't get the higher density, right? Like, so you might think, oh, you have to backtrack to get to Wyvern, right? Like, that's a lot, but because of that warp, right? Like the backtracking is incredibly minimal, right? Like to walk back, right? Like to go to Wyvern, right? Like, maybe a matter of 5 to 10 seconds, right? Like, and the gain in probability is much higher, right? Like,
right, so, right. You're only repeating 2 rooms, basically.
Yeah. Yep. And so that little routing thing makes it like if it was having to walk all the way around that room, right? Like to backtrack, right? Like I'd be much more annoyed at the route that we tend to choose. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then yeah, like if the boss doesn't look beatable, right, like you audible out to check one of the other ones, right, like especially if you're diving early, right, like you're looking to take a boss that'll give you some experience and let you claw into the seed. But in this case, the experience was not the problem.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about grinding, because I noticed that you had a very heavy-hitting party at the end there. Talk to me a little bit about what is it that you look for as far as comfort levels and levels for the final fight, party composition, that sort of thing. What is it specifically that you're looking for in that?
So the big thing, kind of, it's the places you can go, right, like depend on the weapons you have. And in this case, right, like I picked up Artemis arrows in the way through Eblan Cave, and that basically said, okay, right, like I have access to the King Ryugride, right? And you know, Hourglasses, Sirens, and Artemis arrows, right? Like, and somebody that can wield a bow. So like I knew that was on the table. And then we never got a weak caster until like late Rydia. So it was like, okay, D machines are off, right? Like eggs were a possibility, but at that time, right, like routing down to eggs just to then go back up to the moon didn't seem as optimal as doing 5 D machine or 5 King Ryu fights, which is all I did, right? Like I only did 5 fights. And I didn't even life all of them, and I still was well over level, right?
Yeah.
So like it's a fairly fast grind, right? Like if you have something that can pierce them, because like even like Cecil with an Excalibur or something, if you're little low level, right, like you're rocking 3-digit damage, right? Like you can't puncture them. But with a dragon killer weapon, right, like the tables turn massively, and Artemis arrows are the more common of the dragon killer weapons to have access to. So
Totally.
that was really it. It was when I saw those Artemis arrows, I knew it was on the table, and it just so happened to be kind of the way to go.
Siegfried, thoughts?
When you saw it was a hook seed, I noticed you went through trying to get your way through, trying to avoid the hook. Were you looking for the magma?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for magma somewhat, right, like there's so many checks out there, and like I said, like when I saw where the boss was, like the boss themselves, the blue robe boss, like that, either way that was going to be beatable. It's just a question of whether it was fast beatable or slow beatable. But then the question arose, right, like what was in front of it, right, like, and when my guess with the, you know, level 1 Rydia, level 10 Yang, level 17 Yang, like that party was just bad, right? Like, so it was kind of like I really needed to find something else, right? Like an item or a tool or something, and the tool ended up being through Earth Crystal, right? So like if I'd had a better party, I might not have tried to dig out the overworld as much as I did, but because we knew the boss was free, right? Like, so we only had to get past one thing, but that party was not up to snuff.
And that Cecil with a defense sword did help a lot on that mom bomb, didn't it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
like I said, it was like we without, right, like going back, right, like we just didn't have the damage. We got no claws, right, like we didn't even see a poison, right, like let alone a cat claw, right, like I had 1 ice claw extra at the end, right, like we saw no claws, we saw no mage gear, we saw just like our party was like I was over leveled but under geared, right, like by far. Like Cecil was the only one, like I was praying for Kane for the moon character, like a Kane would have been just like, I would have dumped anybody in that party for a Kane, like that would have been incredible at that point, but yeah, it just didn't come there. So yeah, no, we ended up with a lot of heavy gear, right, like we had multiple sets of heavy armor and just no mage gear, and yep.
Well, Mecha, any final thoughts?
Well, I mean, this puts me to 9 points, which, if I'm lucky, I think I'd like 106 strength of schedule, right? Like, so maybe I get to play in, but you know, and I hope to get another shot. If not, it's been great racing and great showing off. And if I get my shot in the play-in, well, I'll have to get first for once.
Well, thank you very much for coming on in, Mecha, and GG's.
GG's to everybody.
What I love to see right here is Marth playing it out. I've always been a fan of just, you gotta finish. You gotta finish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Martha's doing it his way. You know,
He
going blue
went-
eyes on it.
Yeah, he went top down in Lunar Subterrane this.
Definitely did top down.
Got
And
his
it's gonna
magma
be,
key from Evil Wall at Paledem.
yeah, he's gonna have the game give him a little "Hey, how you doing?" right at the end with Ogopogo. Oh yeah, and there's the Plague Dive. As the very last check possible that Marth is gonna do is gonna net Marth the Legend Sword, and isn't that the way? Isn't that always the way?
I know it is when I play.
Yeah, right. And I want to make one thing abundantly clear to anybody who's watching this right now. It looks like Marth got smoked in this race. And objectively speaking, yes, Marth is in last place right now. But finishing a seed like this in 2 hours and 20 minutes, something like that, that is above what the average person is going to do. These are highly skilled, highly knowledgeable runners that are moving in a very efficient manner. This is just a result of checks in a different order that didn't play out very well.
Indeed. They all got there in the end, it just different pathing.
That's right, and that's the lovely part about these randomizers is that you get to see this sort of thing all the time. People that you think are top tier runners or people that you think aren't top tier runners, and they come out and they show you all of the different things that you never knew about the game and ways that you never knew to play the game. It's what makes this randomizer so appealing and so interesting to me, even still. I think Marth knows where the Legend Sword is now, and kind of got that solidarity cabin right there, preparing for an ugly fight, and is going to get a big laugh when he sees what's coming out of this next check.
I do believe he did dive Luca as well. He
Yes.
did Bahamut, he checked everywhere.
Yeah, he checked absolutely everything. I don't think that Marth checked. Did Marth check Ashura and Leviathan spots?
I believe he was the one that did Kanaza.
Yeah.
Had a crystal
So,
ring for his
like,
efforts.
checked everything. And let me tell you something. You go 28 for 28, 17 for 17. Assuming that we can just say that you checked the Luca key spot and reset out of it, and that counts. That's
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, that's a full clear, a virtual full clear of this seed in a pretty spectacular time, you know. And there it is. There it is. It's the Legend Sword that he's been looking for. Gonna chuck some kamikaze. The beautiful thing about this seed is that pass is somewhere very close to your pickup for go mode as well, so you don't have to come back, do the walk of shame all the way.
Indeed.
I'm curious though.
Not sure why he's not
Yeah,
exiting.
there we go.
There
I
he
was
goes.
curious about this walk. Like taking
Does
a
he go
long
and
walk
check
back.
Wyvern?
I don't know if Marth checked Wyvern or not.
I don't think he did.
Okay, well, there's at least that.
Mhm.
So you're 26 to 28, basically.
I know this much. If there were someone like me running this, I'd probably get 3 hours easy. He's still a phenomenal run.
Yeah, well, this seed from start to finish was real tough. Real tough on the on the runners early on with some marshmallow style characters. And you don't really get anything going from your Rydia until she learns Virus, unless you get yourself a dancing dagger or some heroine robes and a good bow and arrow.
Indeed. Sometimes a Leviathan can be nice to find. Sometimes a good Hobbs spell. Yeah, Bahamut, definitely. Bahamut will just win you all the way to...
Yeah, and Dark Paladin makes an interesting point here in chat, is that if this were... what? Oh, there's an item there? I never knew there was an item there.
There is a vanilla item there.
See, I've been running this thing for how long now, and I just learned something new. You learn something new every day on this game. Every day.
I like to say that you're stealing his rainy day fun.
Oh, that's sad. But yeah, Dark Paladin in chat said that this sea would have caused a good bit of forfeits in a general race.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Just because of that mom bomb at King Queen Eblin spot.
Any physical heavy boss is just awful.
One of the worst ones that I had ever encountered actually was Dark Knight Cecil at King Queen Eblon.
Oh, that is just so bad.
Followed by Antlion at Rubicin.
Ooh, that is nasty.
Yeah, it's a spicy encounter, but you know what? It's not too far off from what our runners dealt with here, because that Babel Gauntlet. Say what you like about the Babel Gauntlet, having 6 encounters, something like that.
7, yes.
7, yeah, back to back. You have no healing opportunities whatsoever, and each of them have the variable strength of that spot. So they're hitting like trucks, especially at the levels that you're at there. That is a tall order. Going back to when Invenerable ducked in there, it was such a risk to not back out and save, because that's an easy spot to wipe in.
But he was very confident, and he pulled out some tactics I didn't even know would be valid.
The frog tactics. Yeah, the frog tactics were, frankly, the favorite thing that I've seen pretty much all season. And Marth is going to continue grinding. Throws down a nuke.
He does have 3 Rydias, but all of them should have enough power to just do Reflex Strike, so I don't know why he's grinding.
I feel like this is less about worrying about the levels and stuff, and more for I want to cut through Zeromus like a hot knife through butter.
I mean, if I was the last one in the race, I would love that myself. That would be so satisfying.
Yes. I mean, and Marth already had nuke before he went down to grind on those 3A. Oh, got Crystal. It's going to put a Zeus Gauntlet on? Oh, it's going for a physical Rydia.
There were heroine robes being sold at the Smith's house.
That's interesting.
I have done this tactic before where I've thrown heroine robes and bows and whips on Rydia and Rosa and just zerked them through.
And it could also be a speed issue, too. Could be agility anchoring. The increase of agility that you get, is it 15?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, 15 strength, 15 agility at the cost of 10 wisdom, 10 willpower.
And those nukes will still hit pretty hard, even with the reduction.
Yeah, they'll hit for about 4,000 or so like that. Not the close to cap damage that Rydia is used to doing with nuke, because by the time Rydia can get nuke, she's usually at a level where she's popping you for like 8,500 minimum on that.
Yep. She just has a very high base wisdom stat.
Yeah, she just unfortunately gains experience at a pretty slow rate as far as levels concerned, and has just a dreadfully high level required to learn Nuke. What was it, 54?
I think it's 55.
Yeah, something like that. Something mid 50s area. It takes 5 ever to get there.
Yep. And she also has really low HP. A lot of people tend to take Palom instead because he does naturally have more HP than.
So we've got our Crystal. And we got a Bacchus. And we got a Moon Veil.
And it looks like he's going to mainly just bop him with Cecil and reflect on with the rest of the lane.
It looks like whatever anchoring strats Marth is going for are going to be just fine because that was 3 turns before Zeromus did the transformation, which that's a lot.
Rosa's not that fast compared to the other characters.
Yeah, so we got a miss out of that.
Just a wee bit too soon on that.
The Silk Web lands. That means that he is targetable, and it's go time. And
nice.
That is such a satisfying thing whenever Zeromus reflects his own nuke back onto himself. And it's go time. So that might be the radio with Hero was on.
The one at top is the one.
Yeah, 6258 coming out of it. That's pretty good. $72.80. That's not too bad. Now the problem here is that you get too close. If you get too close on that damage, and Cecil bops him, that can trigger a phase change. You don't get that skip that you're looking for.
And you'll get quite the rude awakening once you Big Bang.
This looks to be fairly calculated, though.
Oh, indeed. Reflect strats are always very beautiful to see. I would not have berserked Cecil myself.
Well, the thing is that can actually play to your advantage. That might have triggered phase change right there, though. That last little bop. I think he was close. It doesn't really matter.
He'll get there. He's got enough HP.
Yeah, with this party, he'll get there just fine. I mean, Cecil could probably solo it.
Oh, most definitely. With 4,000 HP, has a very nice Excaliburs.
Well, and after all that damage into a phase change.
Ooh, Big Bang was nerfed, it looks like.
Okay, so it wasn't a phase change after. Gonna lay down a Cure 4. Now, Reflect strats are the choice for a lot of runners because they feel that they're faster. A lot of the reason why a lot of runners feel that they're faster is because you can skip the HP refill phase. So, I believe it's at 61,000?
Somewhere around there, yes. And if you skip that, you knock off a good 40,000 off them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you're essentially cutting the fight in half. But with this level of nuke coming out, and with how slow Zeromus is, you can't help but feel like this is pretty much over before it began.
Getting there slowly but surely.
And there's a shake. Now, is that a meteor shake or is that just a shaker? Yeah, that was a meteor shake. Good night, Zeromus. Bada bing, bada bang. Marth takes care of business, gets it done. And that's a shake, rattle, and roll from our Zeromus and the Moonanites that won't go down except they always do. There it is right there. That is the highway. GG's.
GG's all around.
Do we interview Mark? Is this just a cutaway? Like, what we got here? See if we can get Marth in here. All right. See what Marth has to say. And Marth has declined on the interview, so that's it. Siegfried, it looks like this is our exit. We're getting off the highway today.
Indeed.
It's been nice commentating with you, sir.
And likewise, you are
very, very troublesome seed, but got to see an awful lot of really good tactics coming out there. And heck, I learned a bunch. I always learn whenever I watch good runners run this. So, yeah. Want to give a quick shout out, Demerin2 and Iker. Demerin2, our restreamer, Iker, our tracker, and of course, the free enterprise community at large. Coming out and supporting this awesome race. The highway is still open. Be sure to tune in next time. Siegfried, any last thoughts?
That was quite entertaining, and I think everyone should have a lovely evening.
Fantastic. Have a good night, everyone, and whatever you're doing, stay safe and stay strong.